Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Jillian here. I am very excited about today's video. We have with us an amazing guest, a super inspiring, very successful raw vegan, someone I look up to greatly, and someone who has greatly inspired me over the last few years. Please say hello to Shane Sterling. Hi, Shane.
Hello. Hi, Jillian.
How
Thank
are
you so
you?
much for having me on. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very happy to have you. It's an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And I just want to say, starting out, just before we get started, I want to say, I feel like I was so excited to have you on here because I watch your videos and I just feel like you speak so much from your heart. And I can tell like so many of your messages are from your higher self and from a higher source energy. And you're truly connected and such a messenger out there. So you're very inspiring. I'm very happy to have you on. And not only that, like you absolutely glow and radiate the raw vegan life and you look fantastic. So it's a pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank you, Jillian. Well, you are such an important person for me too, because you've been around and a fan and commenting on my YouTube videos for so long. And you sent me these beautiful books that you made, and you're part of my community, Raw Vegan Heroes. And just, it's a mutual relationship. So honestly, like it goes both ways. I need people to hear the message and be there and be inspired by it. And that fuels me to talk about it. So I'm just so grateful for you. And I'm just so happy to spend this time with you and be able to connect and share the valuable information.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, I want to ask, I know you're open about this because you do look absolutely amazing. And it's such proof that the diet is just so healthy for the body. So if you would share with everyone how old you are, because I'm sure people will be surprised.
I'm 48 years old. I turned 48 January of 2021.
It's crazy. To me, you look like you're in your 20s.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And how long now have you been a full raw vegan?
Well, in my fourth year now, so 3 full years. And this year, by the fall, I'll be 4 years raw vegan.
Wow.
So fully raw, 100% raw, with a focus on superfoods and high water content, fruits and vegetables. I was 80-10-10, which is a low fat raw vegan for about a year and a half
Mm-hmm.
to really help my body detox. That kind of really set it into motion. I think I really helped my body clean out some stuff. I dropped like 10 pounds or 10. I probably dropped 20 pounds, but about 10 years of age came off. I mean, I looked 10 years younger after being 80-10-10 for about a year, but I'm no longer low fat raw vegan. Now I've switched to more of a higher fat.
Wow.
And so I really try to get a wide diversity of foods in. I don't limit like what I eat, just totally un-denatured though. So I don't eat any cooked oils and no grains, no breads, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And you
And
still have a lot of energy, even high fat?
yeah, I personally think that it's like two transitions. You got to transition to being able to digest raw food in general. So you got to eat more fruits, more vegetables, and you got to get your microbiome strong so you can do that. And then you got to transition to a macro balance that works for your constitution, where you live. Is it a colder environment? You might need more fats. So
Yeah.
I personally think fats are great. And I think one of the main mistakes vegans make in general is eating low fat long term,
Yeah.
and it's not healthy. We need high amounts of omega-3s in our diet. And so we can just get that from nuts and seeds, flax, chia, hemp seeds. So I focus on those. And I think that's been the key for me. One of the things that's allowed me to be successful really is the way I eat chia seeds, flax seeds, and hemp seeds. Those three. I
Mm-hmm.
don't limit them. I eat them in abundance. And so my fat percentages are higher, but it makes me feel better. It's higher protein and it fuels my workouts. I work out every day pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And so the combination of that, undenatured foods, good omega-3s, exercise, it's that combination, I have to say.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how do you feel being raw vegan versus how you felt in your previous lifestyle?
Oh, well, it's night and day. I mean, geez, for anyone who is considering going raw vegan, I mean, honestly, it's the best feeling diet. It's not easy to transition. So you have to go through a detox phase, and people get scared and turn back and go back to their normal diet because the detox is intimidating. It might take a while. It may take a year. It might take 2 years till you feel good consistently on raw food. But I've crossed that threshold, and now I'm so grateful every day for being free of the cooked food paradigm, the addiction, the nonstop hunger, the gaining weight easily. I mean, I can eat so much food, and don't gain weight, and it can just channel it into good body composition, into my exercise. It just allows the body to function how it should. So cooked food in general is like this bottomless pit. Whenever I have a bite of cooked food, just to like remind myself why I'm 100% raw, I'll have a bite of rice or something, broccoli. It just opens up this feeling of like, oh God, I could eat that endlessly. It's not a healthy feeling. It is kind of an addictive feeling. And so I've really loved being free from the food addiction. I do have to say, it's incredibly liberating. And I have energy. It's cleared up my skin and my eyes, and it makes me feel like I'm 20 years old again, maybe even better than I felt in my 20s. I just feel ready to take on the world, which is, my work is coaching. I help people transition. I talk to people every day. I'm on the phone all the time. I do live streams, videos. I got to show up and be who I am. I have a lot of people to talk to and to inspire, and I make YouTube videos. So if you're going to live that kind of a lifestyle and be an inspiring person, you've got to live an inspiring life. You've got to be inspiring. And so for me, I remember I choose raw food every day. I remember why it's so important to me, because I want to be someone who inspires other people. And so I'm going to live that way, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove it to myself, and I'm going to just make the harder choice. It might be harder today to stay raw, but I get immense benefits. So it makes my life easier. So by choosing harder, regimented patterns now, it makes my life easier in the long run. Okay?
Exactly.
Right? So if I chose the easy path now, eating French fries and hot dogs and fried food and whatever I wanted, my life would be hard.
I know.
Because I wouldn't have the life I wanted to be living.
Yeah,
So,
it changes your vibration too, completely, and what you attract and everything.
absolutely, yes, it does change your vibration. So I feel more connected to my intuition. I feel more ready to do the dance with life. Like if I'm called forward, I'm ready to act. I'm ready to show up. I feel like I just have a better flow of thoughts. My thoughts are more clear. My mind is more clear. I feel connected to my body and the wisdom of my body. And so the connection of the mind, body, soul, and spirit is really big. I feel like I have a really great spiritual life and spiritual connection more than ever before in my life. I feel empowered, and I feel ready to manifest the life of my dreams. I feel ready to be the person I've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's how raw food makes me feel. And the discipline of staying raw gives me that practice to live the life of my dreams, to create the life and be the person I've always wanted to be. So it goes hand in hand. A little discipline is the secret to success.
Absolutely. You're so strong and full of life. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working at it for a long time, and I've been plant-based for many years. I went plant-based when I was 17 years old. It was 1990. That was 31 years ago. So
Wow.
I've been figuring out how to make a plant-based diet work for 31 years, so I've been in this a long time.
Do you ever crave meat now or no? Like meat or fish at all, or eggs or anything?
Oh yeah, to be honest, of course. Yeah, like I was saying, it's a discipline. So it would be easy to eat meat. It would be giving into that hunger, addictive food feeling. And that's always there. Yes, there's never a time when the drippy, gooey cheese pizza picture on the TV commercial isn't gonna like have that appeal. But just like a crack addict or a heroin addict is always gonna want to go back to heroin, of course you have to make a choice. It's that one day at a time. I mean, I think of myself as a recovering addict. I will always be a recovering addict. Junk food and animal products will always be that sensation in the gut that it gives, that I have grown past. I would rather make the hard choice to get the results that I'm getting.
Absolutely. Me too. I agree.
Yeah. So it's not like you grow past it. That's a myth, like, oh, if I'm raw vegan long enough, I won't crave cooked food. I never paint that picture for my clients, people I work with. I always paint the picture that, look, this is a practice. This is a daily practice. This is a devotional lifestyle that is going to excel your personality, your connection, your wisdom to the next level. Is that easy? No, it takes practice and dedication, and you're going to get the results.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm curious too. So I know I would love to know how you're eating currently. So like what's an example of how you're eating today?
It's pretty simple. Most people think it's complicated. A lot of people will contact me and say, could you do what I eat in a day videos, or can you give me recipes? I don't make recipes, to be honest. The only time I combine food is when I make smoothies, or salads, and I'll combine things for salad. But I literally will eat fruits, fruit monomeals, just meals of fruit, salads, of course, and I make a variety of dressings for my salad. So I'll make spicy and salty and savory and sour curry dressing. So any flavor that I want in my diet or that I miss from a cooked food diet, I'll just make in my salad dressing. So I have curry flavored constantly because I love curries. So I don't miss any of the flavors, and I don't miss or deny myself any of the like sensations of salt, or, any of
Mhm.
the things that people might think that raw vegans don't do. I allow myself to do that because it's important to,
Yeah.
to stimulate the senses and to feel some pleasure, but not addiction pleasure, not pursuing fleeting pleasure, right?
Mhm.
So salads are a big part of that. And smoothies. I can make smoothies in a variety of styles, and I can get superfoods in my smoothies. So one thing, I don't crave meat, like I was saying, it's not a craving anymore for me. I mean, I make that decision to not do it. So I've grown past that to a degree, but I really have become fond of and do feel cravings
Mhm.
toward the superfoods that I eat on a daily basis. So, like I do like some of the adaptogen herbs like maca or ginseng or reishi mushrooms,
Mhm.
some of the powdered or dried things that you can put in your smoothies, like
Mhm.
spirulina and chlorella. These types of things, the more I have them, the more healthy I feel. And
Mhm.
it's low calorie, high nutrient density, high energy foods that provide my body with all of the building blocks of life, but with no digestive burden. So
Mhm.
that's really my focus, is keep the digestive burden low. Don't
Mhm.
mix too much, don't eat too much, but have it be really high nutrient density. Focus on superfoods. So you're getting high flavonoids, high mineral salts, high electrolytes and minerals in general, high amounts of, amino acids, not complex proteins, not complex starches, so then the body doesn't have to break down all these foods. So really it's very simple.
Mhm.
Smoothies, fruits, salads,
Mhm.
raw nuts and seeds,
Mhm.
dried fruits,
Mhm.
you know.
Are there any raw foods you stay away from? Like I know for me, if I have cacao, I come down off of it. Like there's a few things I have to stay away from. Is there anything you don't eat?
I will have raw cacao. Yeah, I think that it's we live in a high pressure life. We have jobs, we have careers, we have businesses to run, we have families. So, if I'm not having caffeine, if I'm not having green tea, so I don't do any caffeine, alcohol, I don't do any stimulants. So,
Mhm.
cacao is not a central nervous system stimulant. It's
Mhm.
really high in flavonoids and other things that are extremely good for the digestive
Mhm.
system and the microbiome.
Mhm.
So if we have a really healthy microbiome, okay, we
Mhm.
get our gut like really, really healthy, it creates neurotransmitters, it creates hormones in our body that give us really good mood.
Yeah.
So for me, cacao is a mood enhancer, and it can help lift my mood on a day where I'm feeling stressed or down. And
Mhm.
so then it's beneficial, you know, but it's not a central nervous system. I've cut out all central nervous system stimulants, so I won't have caffeine at all. And cacao doesn't have caffeine. It's like a different stimulant. So, we get to pick and choose. Somebody might not like it.
Mhm.
Um, but I think we have to find what works for us, and unfortunately, there's no silver bullet that fits one size fits all. There's no rule book here. We can't just say, here's how you do it. This works for everyone. That's why I'm a coach, because there's a lot of personal development that goes into being a raw vegan. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of time needed to discover who you are and what works for you. And there's no way to shortcut that. There's no way. You need to have mentorship. You need somebody you can bounce ideas off of, somebody to talk to, you know,
Mhm.
like my group Raw Vegan Heroes, Jillian, that
I
when
love
we
it.
can mastermind together. So there's 200 people, 200 members in that group right now. And so we can bounce off of each other. We can talk about it. We can get feedback that helps us forge our own path. But one path, one size does not fit all in this diet. That's why some people might need higher fat, some people lower fat. And that it makes it really confusing in one way, but it also makes it the hero's journey where we have to discover who we are. We have to, drop all of this outside conditioning, the medical narrative, the science diet narrative, the germ theory narrative, all of these things that don't serve our true health, and find out what works for ourselves. That means we have to be courageous. We have to embark on a journey of self-discovery that can be really scary and feel really lonely.
Mm-hmm. What do you say? This is a question. What do you say when people ask you? They ask me a lot. Where do you get your protein, Shane?
Well, every single food has protein in it. Every single one. There's not a single food that doesn't have protein. Nuts and seeds are particularly high in protein. The highest protein food on the planet, bar none, across the board, is spirulina. It's like 4 grams of protein per tablespoon. It's very easily digestible protein. If you eat 4 grams of meat, it takes weeks to digest that. It creates acid waste. It creates a bad bacterial balance in the gut. It's very hard for the body to extract those proteins. It's not very utilizable. Spirulina it's like 99% absorbed. It's highly utilizable, no digestive effort whatsoever. It's just instant protein. So that's the kind of protein that I focus on. Also, hemp seeds are incredibly high in protein. Walnuts and almonds are high in protein. Greens are high in protein. Even fruits have protein. So also, we don't want to overeat protein because then we create acid waste. Protein does metabolize acidic in the body. If we have too much protein, we're creating acidosis. So high protein diets like bodybuilder diets and stuff can often lead to acidosis, which manifests in lots of different ways, health problems,
And what do you say to people who transition to raw vegan and they say, oh, I tried it, but I always get hungry? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, people have to know why they're doing something. They have to have a vision of what's really important for them and decide what they're committed to creating. If they're just trying something, that's not being committed to creating something. They're just putting on a hat to see if it fits. And that's never going to work no matter what it is. If you want to build $1 million company, you're going to have to be dedicated and work at it for years. If you want to be a raw vegan, you're going to have to be dedicated and work at it for years. It's a lifelong process. It's a lifestyle. Being an entrepreneur and running $1 million company is also a lifestyle. So it just takes that level of commitment. And so, yes, lots of people will try the hat on and say, oh, that's not for me. The food addiction component is really, really real. Okay, we have a conditioned microbiome. The bacteria are conditioned for certain foods. We inherit our microbiome from our mother. If she's a junk food eater, if she craves carbs and binges on bread, we're going to crave carbs and binge on bread. It's like a direct family lineage thing. So how are we going to break that? We're going to break that through months and years of dedication, of staying with raw fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, superfoods, and breaking that addiction and choosing the harder path, not giving into the cravings when it's hard. And if we just eat calories, we're going to feel great. We can load up on calories. We can have a 1,000-calorie smoothie. We can have 4,000-calorie smoothies, plus fruit, plus salads. We can easily eat 5,000 calories in a day as a raw vegan. If you're eating 5,000 calories a day and still hungry, that's not a nutrition issue. That is a gut microbiome bacterial issue. Those bacteria aren't getting their carbs, they're not getting their meat, and they're mad about it. So you've got to decide what you're committed to creating. If somebody really wants to be a raw vegan, you've got to just know what you're doing, stick with your vision, and not let the circumstances of hunger and cravings throw you off your vision.
Exactly. And if you hadn't gone raw vegan, where do you think your life would be right now? How different do you think it would be?
Well, I'm self-employed as a coach, full-time, as a raw vegan coach. I have over 200 members in my group and private clients who rely on me for being someone to inspire them, to help them. I help people with business coaching because I'm an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed since I was 24 years old. I'm a high performer. I have an incredibly impeccable mindset. I always have. It's one of my gifts. So if I wasn't operating at this level of clarity of mind and energy, I would probably not be able to run the level of company that I have now and inspire as many people. So I wouldn't be as successful. I might still be an entrepreneur, but not as successful. So I just feel like my raw vegan diet gives me purpose. It gives me passion. It gives me a mission. I'm living into my legacy.
Mhm.
Everybody's got a different purpose on this planet, but the key is to tap into your purpose. What is the stamp that God placed on your heart? Everyone has some specific, unique gift to offer, and we have to tap into that. If we're numbing out with junk food, if we're numbing out with food addiction, how are we going to really tune into that? So
Mhm.
by going raw vegan, we have to stand in the fire of who we really are. We have to, feel the uncomfortableness that we don't want to feel. We have to feel the pain and the trauma that we've been hiding from our whole life. And when we do that, we break through to the other side and we realize who we really are and what we really came here to do.
Mhm.
Then we can live into our purpose work, live into that gift and give our gift to
Mhm.
others. And I think being a raw vegan is the quickest way to just crack that, shell open, rip the Band-Aid off and become who we're really meant to be instead of just hiding behind our patterns and our addiction over and over.
I agree. I know it's such a comfort thing. I realize when I'm juice cleansing too, even how much you go to foods for covering up emotional things, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the number one thing that we do. Food is the biggest addiction known to mankind, and we hide our emotions with food. So
Mhm.
if we are eating fruit instead of fried food or bread or veggie burgers, there's nowhere to hide.
Mhm.
The emotions don't go away. The feelings don't go away. And then what? Then we have to be like a warrior, a shaman. We transmute them, we ground them out. That puts us in our power, you know?
Mhm.
Because we're not hiding or running from what we don't want to feel. We're actually standing in it and using it and choosing what we're doing with it.
Mhm.
That puts us in a place of power. That puts us in a place of creating our life intentionally. And that's how we get the life we want. That's how we become the person we've always dreamed of becoming.
You're amazing, Shane. I agree. Your
Thanks.
messages are just bang on, you know?
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really believe it. This is what I'm living. So I'm just speaking from a place of experience, like personal experience. This is what I'm living and doing. And yeah, so I feel very grateful.
Yeah. So another thing too is relationships with becoming raw vegan. I know for me, it's totally changed my vibration for the most part and how I feel. And the lifestyle is also very different than most people's lifestyle. So it's resulted in shifts in relationships and people leaving my life due to the different lifestyle I have, us not connecting maybe over wine and pizza, and then my vibration changing and changing other relationships. So I've definitely had a big shift in a lot of relationships. So I'm just wondering, have your relationships changed at all because of becoming raw vegan?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's maybe the most important question because I think a lot of people, refrain from changing energetically in fear of outgrowing their loved ones, in fear of creating rifts in their family dynamic or their primary partners, their marriages with their kids and whatnot. And we have such a cultural identity around food and food as our culture that it creates a sense of tribe. So our food is our tribe. And if we are doing a different food culture, then we're in a different tribe. I think people are really afraid of that change specifically. And so I'm someone who has embraced that. Me and my wife, we've been married 13 years. When we got married, I was in a phase where I was not vegan. I was eating omnivore style, very disempowered. I had very low bandwidth for my self worth at that time.
Mhm.
And that was when I chose to get married with my wife and have kids. It was, so now as I've evolved in my path as a raw vegan, I have definitely grown in a different way than my wife. She's not vegan.
Mhm.
She's not someone who wants to embrace the raw vegan lifestyle. She's not ready. Her relationship with food is her own. It's not my place to convince or enroll her. She will do it when she's ready. She sees what I'm doing. I'm doing this for myself, for my empowerment, for my self worth. So when I take on my self worth and I really choose myself, choose my life, vote myself onto the lifeboat on the Titanic. Our culture is the Titanic and it's sinking fast. Are you going to vote yourself onto the lifeboat? I've chosen myself. So Me and my wife have had a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of rifts, a lot of division. And in fact, this year we've been talking about getting divorced in a loving, supportive way, and
Wow.
it's hard to grow past energies with people that you love, but it's also not holding back. It's an expansion. Me and my wife love each other. We're co-parenting our children. We will always be best friends. So it's not really a loss. I will just say, as I expand and grow and claim my empowerment and claim my higher frequency, I've asked for this. I've asked to raise my frequency. So if I have to let relationships fall away and reinvent the relationships and grow past certain relationships, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. This is the path of, a warrior, a light worker, someone who's bringing truth onto the planet. If we're going to open up our consciousness with raw foods, we're asking for it. So, Jillian, how have you handled that do you mind if I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah, with the divorce?
Yeah, I mean, has that been your experience with your divorce?
I think you're handling it a lot more beautifully than me. I think I didn't handle it so great a lot of the time. I think being raw though just makes me feel so much more in tune with myself and so happy and so high vibe. So it's definitely really helped me get through the divorce. But I think I've had issues with holding on to the past. Like we were together for 20 years and thinking we'd be together forever, and kind of maybe an unhealthy attachment to the relationship that I've been trying to get past.
That's great. Well, same thing with me. It's like you go into a marriage or into a partnership with someone with ideals and belief systems about how it's going to always be. But life has a way of giving us new inspirations and new challenges, and we have to take them on and grow. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a big energetic happening on the planet right now, even that might redefine the nature of relationships. Men and women are changing. Our dynamic is changing with each other. So I think it's okay to expand into new versions of what it means to be a couple, what it means to be partnered. And so me and my wife are experimenting with that. How can we be best friends, co-parents, and still have it be better than ever? That's how we're thinking about it. So we keep saying to each other, the better it gets, the better it gets. Let's let it get better than it is right now. Instead of being in this power struggle of vegan versus non-vegan and raw versus non-raw and my needs versus your needs, instead of that dynamic, let go of all that and expand into the next version of what it wants to be. Because look, if you're choosing yourself, if you're empowered by your choice with food every single day and not going into these food addiction patterns, the
Mm-hmm.
same goes for your relationship patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I always say the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if we choose empowerment in our diet and lifestyle, the same patterns of choice we get to apply to our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would just say for anyone who's interested in going plant-based or raw vegan and you have intimate relationships with people who are not vegan, I would just say be courageous, empower them, empower yourself, love them, love yourself. This isn't about upholding some ideal and compromising the rest of your life in a struggle power dynamic. That's never going to serve anyone. It's
Mm-hmm.
about really expanding the sense of who you are and what you're capable of. And that's a unique path for everyone. It's a big topic. I wish the best for anyone on that path. I mean, I know how dynamic it is. Every relationship I've ever had in my life has been affected by being vegan, not being vegan, food choices, participating with Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas
Mm-hmm.
dinners, every single one. So it's a big topic for us to handle, and we're expanding, and our identity as human beings are expanding. And this is a time in history to take on our personal growth and not be afraid, and be empowered people and
Mm-hmm.
be light warriors and bring the truth and stand for who we want to be and not be afraid to grow and change.
Yeah, and I feel like we have to come first. I feel like we have to choose ourselves first and our vibration and our life first and how we feel.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's what I
Choosing
feel. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's personal empowerment, and it's self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
When we claim our worthiness,
Mm-hmm.
then we are going to have something to give and offer to others. If we do not claim our worthiness, we are going to perpetually create trauma and patterns of, struggle our whole lives. So when we say, I am worthy of an amazing relationship that's co-creative, I want to be with another raw vegan. I want to be married to another raw vegan that can celebrate my raw choices every day with me. That is something I deserve, and I get to claim that as a raw vegan, right?
Yeah.
And so my wife, current wife, and best friend, she gets to have that. I want the best for her. She gets to be with somebody who celebrates her choices every day. It's okay. It's okay for us to grow and change,
Beautiful. It's beautiful how you speak about it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, life is challenging. We're in this together. We got to stick together, share these ideas, talk about it, support each other. It's big topics, big topics. I'm really grateful for you, Jillian, for bringing this up and giving the opportunity to talk about this, the relationship piece specifically. It's so juicy, and it's really it's the meat of the matter for so many people.
It is. That's been the biggest change in my life. I mean, the best thing I ever did was go raw vegan. It's changed my life more than anything. And the biggest thing to come after that was the divorce. But I mean, before we connected, right, with wine and pizza, and he was super supportive of my change because he saw how happy I was and what's the best for me. But the vibrations and dynamic just changes sometimes after that.
And you claimed yourself, Jillian. You said, I'm going to be raw vegan. It was the best thing you ever did. Same with me. I claimed myself, best thing I've ever done for myself. I wouldn't ever go back and make a different choice. It was the best choice I've ever made in my life. And the energetic road that takes us on, then we have to embrace that. We have to be empowered. We've asked for that growth. We've asked for that trajectory, so it's a big hero's journey. We're on the hero's journey,
Yeah. And
discovering who we are.
Yeah. Speaking about heroes, I love your Raw Vegan Heroes group on Facebook. It's totally helped me, especially through some dark times, staying healthy and the support of everyone in the group. It's just full of the most beautiful members. I love it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my Raw Vegan Heroes group is my group coaching, and it's really the way that I feel I can provide the most value for people. It's a community where people can come to get support around going raw vegan, so we're not feeling alone in our choices. Because if we don't have others in our community or our family that reflect back to us that this is a good choice, we will feel very discouraged and disempowered, and we're not going to last. We might get a week or 2 weeks in, and all of a sudden the pressures from the crab bucket of our society is too much, and we give in and we give up on ourselves. But if we're really called, we need to be around other like-minded people who are there to celebrate the choices. So if we have questions about how to be raw vegan, if we have questions about how to detox, how to do a juice fast, how to get through it, how to beat cravings, what recipes do I make, what salads, what dressings, what smoothies, the Raw Vegan Heroes group is there to provide an abundance and plethora of responses and answers. That's the power of community. Is not only do you get coaching from me in the group, but you get support and input from 200 enthusiastic, loving members, so that's the power of a community. We can't do this alone. We're not designed to do this alone.
No, I agree. And I'll just ask you one last question. So what's some advice you would have if someone was thinking about going raw vegan? Some tips or advice, how to get started?
Well, what I did when I decided that I was going to claim this, I chose myself. It was a choice of self-worth. I said, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to get out of this low-grade depression and anxiety that I was in, these loops of, eating sugar and processed foods and alcohol and wine, terrible, terrible feeling for me. And I was like, I'm going to claim it. I'm going to choose health. And when I did that, I just stopped eating the cooked foods and I had to figure it out. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. So my advice is to get support. Join a community like Raw Vegan Heroes and just know that you can get through it. You don't have to have all the answers. The answers will come to you. You have to claim it. So be in your vision. Hold the vision, not the circumstance. The circumstance is that you don't know how, you don't have the resources, you don't have the tools, you don't know what to do next. The vision is that you're going to be happy, healthy, whole, empowered, in high self-worth. If you hold the vision long enough and hard enough and steadfast enough and don't waver, it will manifest, it will come to fruition, 100% guaranteed. Our
Mhm.
vision creates reality.
Mhm.
And so just stay in the vision of what you want your life to be, even if it's a struggle. It took me 2 years to transition my gut to be able to digest raw foods without gas, bloating, discomfort. 2 years. I went through that because my vision was unwavering. And now I'm past all that and couldn't be happier that I did it.
Mhm.
But unwavering vision for 2 years. So that's what I think that's what you got to do. Give it time, invest in, like building anything successful in your life. It takes work and it takes vision. But it's worth it.
So worth it.
I know, what's the alternative? Just like staying in our low grade depression, anxiety, and food addiction. I mean, that's not a very fun path for the rest of our life.
Yeah. I know you feel like crap.
Yeah. So
Honestly, yeah. Since being raw, like so much of the time I feel so connected to my higher self and just so happy, And
wonderful,
I
Jillian.
only had glimpses of that before when I was eating the regular diet, like barely ever. Now I feel so happy most of the time.
That's good to hear. I'm so glad to hear that. You're a beautiful, shining example. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for being someone who's speaking on this path and on this topic and sharing it with others. And starting your YouTube channel. How empowering is that?
Thank you.
Giving to others. That's what I see raw vegans as, is like givers, people who are generous, people who have an overflow and an abundance of energy and inspiration to give to others,
Yeah, I
because when we
agree.
give that to ourselves, we have it to give to others.
Yeah, exactly. So beautiful. Well, it's been so great speaking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Thank you.
I just want to let everyone know they can look you up on YouTube under Raw Vegan Rising. And then your Facebook group is Raw Vegan Heroes, which is amazing. And I absolutely love that. I'm on there every day and everyone's just incredible. Anywhere else anyone can find you, or those
Thanks,
two?
Jillian. Yeah, well, if you want to learn more about Raw Vegan Heroes, the support group to get coaching from me, you can go to my website, rawveganrising.com. You can see how to sign up for the membership there. And of course, Jillian's, so the YouTube channel, I talk about it. If you look at any of my YouTube videos, the links are all in there in the description. So,
And I'll link you in this video too.
oh, good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Shane.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here. And if anybody's listening to this and inspired to go raw vegan, I would say do it. Don't be afraid. Just take your vision and run with it. You got this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Shane.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.